As somebody who has done many, many, many interviews, let me tell you something. When you go online, you're going to get interview tips, right? Confidence. Build your resume, right? All these different things. And build your resume is huge, right? Like I always tell you guys, you can set yourself apart, for something. But I like to say fuck all this, okay? You need to have this, but everybody has this shit. Everyone plays by the same playbook. But the reason I got jobs that I wasn't qualified for, or that I probably wasn't the best candidate for, was because you want to be memorable. Now, you need to be memorable with something that you bring to the table. So that's why one of the Easter eggs, what I like to call the Easter eggs to this, is what I told you guys before. And I posted at the top of the career advice channel in Discord, is get free certs. If you're unemployed, you're underemployed, or you've got time on the weekend, you can go online and get a shit ton of free certifications. And you technically are certified in it once you have the certification. So when you go to, extra certifications and stuff like that, boom, 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 boom. And if somebody says, oh, do you have proof of it? Here you go. Fuck it. It's free. It's a filler, and it makes you better. But the number one thing is to be memorable. Now, how do you be memorable? As somebody who's interviewed people for a position, sometimes they're going to see 20 to 100 people, sometimes in a day, maybe more. And that's after getting thousands of resumes online. So all those things that they put online about interview tips, that's about getting in the door. Okay, you want to have those free certifications that you can get online to fill up your resume. That might be the difference between, somebody flipping through your thing and flipping through something else online and saying, okay, come in for an interview, because they're not going to bring everybody in, right? If your resume, like for me, example, if I was reading your resume and it was a typo in the first couple sentences, I didn't bother with you because I couldn't get over that. I'm like, you couldn't fucking spell check your resume. I don't want you here. And then if it was all like, done all messed up or whatever, or if there was big gaps in your employment or whatever, even if you had a big gap in your employment, don't leave it there. Put something. Put volunteered in Malaysia or something, right? Don't, cared for sick parent. Don't leave it gap, because then I'm like, why are you taking a year off at a time? All right. Now, 20 to 100 people in a day sometimes, all right? What do you want to do? You want to be memorable. So number one, confidence, okay? Confidence, not cocky. Okay, big difference. Walk around with your shoulders up. Don't slouch. Don't look down. Make eye contact. Good firm handshake. Okay? Don't walk in there all cocky like, yo, what's up, you bitches? But also don't walk in there and be like, hi, everyone, hi. Or just sit there and stare at your phone. No, sit back in your chair. Look at your phone if you have to. Scale the room. People notice these things. Okay? People notice these things. Confidence, not cocky. Okay? Number two, make a connection. Yeah, Stucky, that might work for you, but in this corporate office, we don't want you to talk. We don't want you to make connections and make friends. It's all business. Okay, I'm not fucking talking to you then, am I? Make a connection. How do you make a connection? There's 1,000 ways to do it. I always scale the room, and I look for something that's a conversation starter where it feels like I can get a feel for them, but I won't offend them. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? You get the feel for it right away. If it's a guy who has a military flag, right? It could be somebody who has a Funko doll on their shelf. Could be something. Everybody always has a little bit of their personality somewhere, right? It could be a picture of them and their friend in Cabo. And while you're sitting there and they're looking over your resume and be like, while they're doing it, be like, is that Mexico? And they go, excuse me, what? The picture, is that Mexico? Yeah, that was me and my sister went to Cabo. Oh, God, it's so amazing. Yeah, I was in Cabo a couple of years ago. I mean, I remember the guys that would sell the little ice cream on the carts and stuff like that. That was my favorite part. And I'd be like, yeah, I saw those too. Yeah, what made you go? Boom. Now look, there you go. You can. It's so insane how you can do these things. Okay. It is what it is. If the interview is via Zoom, then you obviously have to improvise. I'm talking about in-person interviews because this person said he's going in for an interview, okay? Make a connection. Try to make a connection, okay? You can do it. If you're on a Zoom call and you hear the person's dog bark, boom, there you go. Who doesn't fucking love talking about their dog? You hear a kid laugh in the background or cry, and you hear him go, wah, he's like, oh, you just reminded me. I got to make sure the door's closed and my toddler's trying to take a nap right now. Oh, how old's your kid? Boom, done. You can make these connections. I could spend a whole day on that, but that's making a connection. My wife and I told you guys this story, my wife and I went in for our marriage immigration thing, whatever. She spent 6 months getting that case together, getting all the documents and printing them and doing that. Had binders and binders and folders and bags of this stuff. And we walked in there and she was ready for this long interview process. We go in, we sit down. I see the immigration officer. I look on his wall. I see 10th Mountain and I see Afghanistan. I fucking knew I was in. I said, he's looking over his stuff and he starts checking. I said, you were 10th Mountain? He goes, yeah, why? So I saw your Afghanistan thing. I said, I was in Afghanistan. I was in Kandahar, 06. We were attached to 10th Mountain. He goes, no way. He's like, I was in Kandahar too. I was like, when? It's like 05 to 06. I was like, dude, we probably ran into each other and had no idea. And the next thing you know, we're bullshitting about military and all this stuff. And my wife is sitting there looking at me like, baby, what are you fucking doing? You're going to get a... After 45 minutes of bullshitting, dude said, hey, let me, you know what? Forget all that. Do you have your marriage certificate? Do you have this, that? Yeah? Okay. Stamp. Y'all have a good one. Walked out. My wife was like, what the fuck just happened? And I was like, you're welcome. Welcome to America, bitch. I mean, it's insane how this can happen. You'd be so fucking surprised how making those connections, but nobody does because everyone goes in so intimidated, so worried. And the other person is either like, oh God, another person, or that's right, I'm in the power here. It's insane what making a connection can do. But we don't do that because we're always so worried about our little circle. We always have our head down. We're always in our phone. We're always worried about this, or we have no goddamn social experience. That's why so many people come in here and they're like, this man is so toxic. This man is so rude. No, bitch, you've just never experienced the real world, and I'm helping you with it, okay? If I actually was a hateful person, I don't want you here, I'll just ban you, okay? I'm preparing you for the real world. I'm also a dick, but that's just part of it. The real world is not what you think it is. It's not your, let's all, okay? It's not that way. It's not how it is. The world is crazy and it's shitty, okay? But you have to be prepared for it, all right? So, make a connection. And then number 3, be memorable. If this works, that's going to make you memorable. But sometimes this doesn't work. Sometimes you miss, or sometimes you don't have an opportunity. Then you have to be memorable. If I'm an interviewer and I'm interviewing 100 people and they're all the same fucking thing, the only one I'm going to remember is the chick with the nice tits and the guy who was a prick who I wanted to punch in the face. That's the only 2 people I'm going to remember. At that point, it's just about finding qualifications and putting people through to the next level. All right? That's it. Those 2 people are memorable, but not in the right way. How do you set yourself aside? Fun little facts about the company. We had a guy who went in for an interview a year and a half ago. He wrote in on chat one day. He went into work at PayPal. And I was such a bull on PayPal a few years ago. It made a lot of money for a while there, and now I'm fucking down on it. But I did an entire YouTube video on why I thought PayPal was better than Square. And a lot of it had to do with international investments into GoPay in China, into their investments into Africa, into global payments, into potential crypto markets and trading stocks, all that. He used all that in his interview among his own qualifications, but he used that. He got the job. Now, I'm not saying he got the job because of that, but he said that the person was asking questions was really impressed that he knew all this stuff. Because nobody knows that stuff. Everybody's just memorizing how to sell themselves and what their qualifications are, but not sell themselves as somebody who gives a shit or knows about the company or teaches that person something. Or it's like, wow, you knew all that? That's interesting. That makes you memorable. And they might learn something and turn around and tell their friends about it. Or tell you, man, I had this guy come in and he fucking knew about all this other stuff. Like, I didn't even know about this. All those other things that you read online are true, right? They're true. Have a good resume. Don't overclutter it. Don't overspeak. Make sure you dress properly. Make sure you smell good. Be on time. Sure, that's all that. But everybody's doing that shit. This is how you set yourself apart. Well, Stocky, thanks. I just asked the guy about his wife. It turned out it was his daughter, and I didn't get the job. Okay, fuck off. You weren't going to get the job anyways. You just made it easier for them to fucking get you out and probably helped you out, okay? Chill out. But what I'm saying is that these are the things that can separate you from the mass amounts of people. You have to take risks in life. If you want to be successful in life, you need to start getting uncomfortable. And this, for somebody who's not used to do it, is very fucking uncomfortable. And if you've gone to 35 interviews and you haven't got a call back or you haven't got a job and you haven't been doing these things, guess what? Maybe it's time to take that fucking risk. Maybe it's time to get uncomfortable. This guy is a genius. Give it 10 more minutes. I'll be making mom joke, dick jokes, and you'll think I'm an idiot. And get those fucking free certifications, guys. They're in the Discord, pinned at the top of the Career Advice channel.